This video is about surviving police controls without being gunned down or brutalized. And I think that's something every Black man, woman, and child needs to learn today. Hello and welcome to AfriTrends. With my experience as a lawyer and also with the work and projects I did with police in Africa and also a little bit here in Germany, there are certain things I know about the police and I would like to let you know here. Mostly those men you see in uniform, they didn't just become policemen because they like law and order. Many policemen are fascinated by power and control. Many of them feel like they are kind of heroes or super forces when they put on that uniform. They get power drunk in it. And in that state, they can do a lot of harm. So we have to learn how to enter these police controls and come out of them safely. The first thing you should know about the police is that just like everywhere else, appearance makes the first impression. And police, they do profiling. When they see you dressed in a particular kind of way, their instincts get aroused. He's wearing a hoodie, he's a criminal, he's a drug dealer. So the first way of surviving police controls and police is not to dress in a way that draws particular attention to you. So I'm not saying you shouldn't dress as a young person, trendy and all that. But don't go to the extreme. If you are driving a car, don't place any sticker on your car that is kind of provocative. Just try to remain within the norm, and that wouldn't draw attention to you. And now to the actual control. Attitude is the A and O when you are stopped by the police. As soon as the police stops you, whether you are driving a car or you're walking on the road or you're about to get on a train, wherever it is, don't put up an attitude. Don't frown, don't hiss, don't say things like, oh, why me, oh, this, that. All those things just provoke them or trigger them off to start going out on you. So all you do is once a policeman approaches you, you greet him politely. Good afternoon, officer. What can I do for you? Or how can I help you? With a very sober, normal face. That's the first stage. And when you greet him professionally without any sulking, any grimaces and all that, don't make sudden movements. Keep your hands where they can be seen. If you are in the car, you can keep them on the steering. If you are standing, keep them there. When you greet the officer like that, he's already aware that you know this game of provoking blacks so that they can have reason to attack them or arrest them. Greet politely and wait for the officer to say something. Don't talk much. Allow him to talk. He would then most likely ask you for your particulars, your identity card, your driving license, things like that. Now, there's no law saying you have to have your passport on you. But if you don't show the police your passport, they can take you to the police station to identify who you are. So please show the police your identity, your driving license, whatever it may be, especially as a young person. Show them your identity. If you don't have it, I'm sorry, I don't have my ID here or my passport here, but it's at home. And maybe a friend can identify you, or they can use another document. And while pulling out your ID card, don't rush, makes any sudden movement to grasp in your pocket or to open the pigeonhole of your car. Make slow movement so that the police officer sees that you're not grabbing for a gun or anything, but you are trying to get out of your particulars. Same thing is if you are sitting in a car. Don't make sudden movements to get out. Ask the police officer, can I get out of this car? And if he says yes, you get out. But if you don't want to get out of the car, you remain seated inside. That's the first part of the control, showing the particulars. And all this time, that's the one law you need to learn. Don't talk to the police. It's your fundamental human right to remain silent. And very often, police will trick you or threaten you into answering questions. They might even kind of like bribe you. Okay, if you tell us what happened, then we'll let you off the hook, or we'll take you as a witness instead of an accused person. Don't talk to the police. You have the right to remain silent. If they are stopping you, where are you coming from? Where are you going to? You don't need to answer all those questions. Now, of course, if you have nothing to hide and you don't answer those questions, of course, then it's not they might get a kind of like irritated or angry. So if you really, really have nothing to hide, you may decide, especially as a young person, to just answer the question politely. Where are you coming from? But if you have something to hide, or even something that might incriminate you, like the police stops you in the night, where are you coming from, a party? The next thing is, okay, you have to blow. Let's see if you drank alcohol. Then you don't need to answer the questions. Don't be rude about it. Just either avoid the question or say directly, please, I don't want to answer this question, or I don't want to answer this question without my lawyer. As a young person, you can also say, I don't want to answer any questions until my parents are here. Even though they intimidate you, and the police, they often lie. They may tell you, oh, do you think you are in a movie? This is not a movie. You have to answer the questions. If you don't answer the questions, we're not letting you go. We're not calling your parents. Don't get intimidated. This rule you really have to learn and practice saying it to yourself till you really believe it. I don't have to answer any questions. More so for young people. Young people don't even understand the implication of what they are doing. Under the law, it's your fundamental human right not to answer any question that will incriminate you. Now, sometimes the police may round up some young people, and one person will start talking and talking. Even though nothing happens to you, when you get out of there, your friends could be really angry with you. And for a very long period of time, they may threaten you and all. So don't let anybody pressurize you or fool you. You have every right not to answer questions the police ask. Even if the police invites you, you have to come to the police station and answer questions. It's an invitation. You don't have to go. You don't have to turn up at that appointment. But that case isn't going to disappear. If you don't turn up, make sure you know that you are now going to get a lawyer to contact them, or you wait because you might be invited to the court. So this is the most important rule about dealing with police. Don't talk to the police. Don't talk to the police. When it comes to searches, normally the police is not allowed to search you or your car without having reasonable reason to suspect something is going on. But in the practice, it's not so easy, because if you are driving and the police stop you and they have a right to ask you, where is your spare tire, where is your first aid kit, things like that. And If you have to open the boot, they will have a look into it. But you may have suitcases and everything. So the very important thing is that you tell the police when they want to search you or your car, I am not consenting to this search. I don't want it. If you do that, if they go ahead with that search and anything gets spoiled, you didn't consent to it, and your lawyer will be able to help you from there. So when you are being searched, or your car is being searched, or your bag or everything, say it politely. I am not consenting to this search. Do you have a reason for it? You might add. But if they want to go along with the search, allow them to go along. You can always complain later. Even without having a lawyer, you can write and complain to the police. So always make it clear, I'm not consenting to the search. The same thing is when they come to search your house or they want to enter your house. You have a right to not let them in. If you let them in, anything that happens after that, you consented to it. So when the police comes, you have to ask them, do you have a search warrant? And allow them to show it to you. Also, like sometimes the police may have a search warrant for one of the kids that is a teenager, but only for the teenager's room and not for the whole house. So look on the search warrant to see what they are allowed to search. You can even ask for a copy. Also, what you have is a right to say you want a witness to be there when your house is being searched. Then the police will provide a witness. You can provide a witness. So if you really want a witness, you can ask the police to provide the witness. Otherwise, here again, even with the search warrant, you can also tell them to be on the safe side. I'm not consenting to this search, but since you have a search warrant, you can you have no choice but to let them search. Whatever you do, don't resist police. Even if police is arresting you or handcuffing you or trying to pull you, don't resist them, even if what they are doing is wrong, because the moment you resist, you are committing an offense, resisting a police officer. So only state what you have to state, but don't resist. And one thing I forgot to add is, at the point after you give your particulars to the police, it would be important for you, especially when the police start asking questions, make something clear. Officer, am I free to go, or are you detaining me here? If the police officer says you are free to go, because he will know that he doesn't have a right to detain you, you didn't do anything. A reasonable police officer will tell you you are free to go. Then you can go off. If he continues asking you question again, doesn't answer the question, keep asking politely. Officer, please, am I free to go, or are you detaining me? Do you have any reasonable suspicion to detain me? So please, in a short summary, show the police your particulars, answer questions to your identity. Ask the police if you are free to go or if they are detaining you, and don't talk to the police. Those are the 3 cardinal rules. Do this politely, do this calmly, do this without resisting. And anything that comes after that, you would have a good chance of sending in an official complaint, or even reporting the case and getting that police officer to court. Although it's very, very difficult. It's really very difficult to get an officer, a police officer, into a court to be held responsible for what he did. and even more difficult for the judge to give such a judgment. So please, when it comes to police control, let's rather be living dogs than dead lions, especially for our young men and our young boys that are hot-tempered and aggressive. The police have learned the strategy of how to deal with you. All they need to do is provoke you a little bit, then you start making some movement. The next thing they will say, you were resisting arrest or you were attacking them. Please, let's outsmart this police at their strategy and let's stay alive. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Please share it because it contains some very vital information for every Black person here in diaspora. And if you feel like and there's some little strength in your finger, press the subscribe button. Bye.